For some reason, people enjoy watching me watch TikToks, as my mind slowly melts and I lose faith in humanity and Western society. So, why bother giving you a preface? I know what you're here for, so let's just go through the gulag. Oh wait, I can't say that on YouTube. Good lord, this site. Sometimes women live in fantasy worlds, and unfortunately, they begin to think that sharing their fantasies online turns them into reality. I don't care how you try to manifest being 130 pounds. It won't work if you're overweight. I'm 5'7", 130 pounds, 38 and recently divorced. Describe me in one word: fat. You're not 130 pounds at 5'7" on any planet. This woman doesn't understand how math works. Either that or her scale is broken. Or she's probably one of those women that do this thing, right? Where they measure their body weight like years and years and years ago, and then they never look again. You can see this on 600 Pound Life. They do it all the time.
Last time I checked, I was like 450 pounds.
Then they get on the scale with Dr. Now, and he's like,
I cannot believe that you think you're only 400 pounds. You're 625 pounds.
How did I gain so much weight?
It's called macaroni and cheese and sitting on your fat ass instead of walking at least 1 mile a day, Shamu. No, I'm not sorry.
He's a monster.
And now a word from our sponsor.
My friend still double taps his AirPods like it's 2016. Some habits are harmless. Others, on the other hand, Fume makes them easier to swap out. Ever feel like you're stuck in a habit you don't even think about? Maybe it's something you reach for during stressful moments, while hanging out with friends or just out of boredom. I've been there, and that's why I'm excited to try Fume. And honestly, it's a game changer. Fume, the sponsor of today's video, isn't another vape or e-cigarette or nicotine product. It's something totally different. A simple, satisfying way to replace the bad habits without inhaling anything harmful. You might go, why is Fume different? No smoking, no vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavor air that gives you something to reach for without any of the chemicals. Sometimes breaking a habit isn't just about willpower. It's about having something better to reach for instead, and Fume gives you that alternative. Fume is a magnetic, fidget-friendly design that keeps your hands busy and your mind engaged. Over 500,000 people have already added Fume to their daily routines, and I totally get why. It's simple, satisfying, and doesn't come with any of the downsides of smoking or vaping. And right now, if you order the Journey Pack using my code GUNDO, you'll get a free Fume topper. So if you're thinking about kicking bad habits, this is a perfect step. Go to tryfume.com/Gundo or scan the QR code on the screen and grab yours today. The problem with the modern queer community is this: everyone is mentally unhinged at this point. And instead of getting therapy, they use TikTok as their therapist, where they hear an echo chamber of other mentally deranged human beings that'll probably accomplish nothing in life other than being a statistic, a problem, or a weight on the system. Get mad if you want, the truth hurts.
You know what's like a really fucked up thing? Masculinity. And we know this, but I'm thinking about how like valid gender fluidity is and how there isn't a lot of space made for someone to be gender fluid. Like we really have to like force space for us to be gender fluid.
You know what the beauty is of America is the fact that people like this can run around with brightly colored hair and have machinations that they think are brilliant observations, when in all actuality they're working with a few chromosomes short and the gray matter inside of their brain has turned a very interesting hue of purple. My point is, masculinity has led to this person being able to live in a country where you could just spew this sort of dumb bullshit because you have the free time. Masculinity has created that phone you're using to rant about. Masculinity, that car. Masculinity, the app that you live your life on and literally are addicted to. I mean, there's still 8 matriarchies in the world, and I don't see anyone in a mad rush to go there. 1, they don't have running water in any of them, and 2, there's no cell phone reception.
But then I think about people who lean more to like the masculine side of the fluidity, and how, because of how masculinity is like shown to us and defined to us like by society and by the way like I guess like cis men culture, so many people that are like identify with masculinity in such a genuine way, like they feel it in their bones, are also defining it, or potentially can define it by these same like toxic definitions of what masculinity is.
You know what you never hear? Toxic femininity, which is what we're watching right now. This absolute, complete, and utter, vapid jumble of words fueled by nothing but toxic femininity and cognitive dissonance. We're literally listening to someone who has their hair the color of asparagus, sitting in a car, saying stupid stuff, probably because they're dating someone who identifies as masculine, and they probably told them to shut up one day.
And it creates this like really like interesting and f***ed up place where someone is like queer, say like trans masculine, trans man, or even just like, you know, like a stud or masculine presenting woman, masculine presenting lesbian. Like people like that have to.
I don't even want to hear about lesbians and studying and all this other crap, especially when I have to deal with my lesbian neighbors constantly getting in fights like every other day. And then one of them run. Okay. One of the lesbians ran the other one over with a car. I wake up in the morning and I hear, "No, don't do it!" Whoop, poof. And he just hears somebody hit the ground and the car speeds off, right? You know, I don't give a shit. Don't care. Didn't call the police. Didn't get up to check to see if anyone was fine. I was letting nature take its course, queen. Okay, I went back to sleep. I wake up again. One of the lesbians comes back, blasting Careless Whisper. I guess that was how you say I'm sorry in a case of domestic abuse. And recently the cops got involved. Point being, I don't want to hear it about lesbians.
They have to feed the part of them that genuinely identifies and presents differently than what they're assigned, but then they also have to combat what it means to identify as masculine. They have to then like work through what masculinity is.
You know what masculinity is? Storming the beaches in Normandy to fight the Nazis. Not like going to your lesbian bar and seeming more dudely than the other chick that thinks she's a dude or whatever. Like, I'm so sick of this. Why would you even post this? This just shows me there's so much mental going on. And I don't care to sugarcoat it anymore because the TOS says I need to. Why do we coddle people like this? This person isn't going to do anything in their life. Nothing. Zilch. They're not going to cure cancer. They're not even going to write a decent song with a beat through the help of AI. Why do we have to tolerate this? What is this even about?
And it's because then that, like, some of that toxic masculinity finds its way into queer spaces. When
What?
I think a lot of.
So what, now the gays are like tormenting each other with toxic masculinity, but not once have I heard toxic femininity. This is some rant about the queer community and its struggle with trying to identify as a man when it's a woman or something. Get out of here. No, I've had it. Officially done. Dude, get a therapist. Get some help. Get Michael Jordan here. Stop it. Get some help. That's where you are now. This is such a stupid rant. It makes no sense. In order to decipher this, you need to be on so many psychedelic drugs for your mental state that I couldn't possibly fathom it. The only other human that isn't in the queer community that could possibly understand is Hunter S. Thompson, and he's dead. And there's not enough barbiturates in the world to make me go through the rest of this video.
When I think a lot of like the motivation or like the freedom of queerness is to like try to remove like the presence of the patriarchy, but that is being repeated or potentially can be repeated by people that are trying to be masculine but are defining it in these toxic patriarchal ways. Like, it's so up, and it just makes masculinity like this thing that just affects everyone.
What is even this? We're gonna like topple patriarchy? Why would you topple the thing that works? It just doesn't make sense. That's leftism as a whole. This thing is working, but I don't feel it benefits me enough in this small minority group of people, so it needs to be dismantled and destroyed so we can all feel equal. This is like communism and dating or something. I don't know what this human being's trying to get at, but I know for certain that it's asinine, absolutely pointless rhetoric that means nothing to anyone that actually has to file their income tax. Oh, I bet you this person's gonna get their car repoed one day because they can't afford the payments, and I can't wait for that video to be posted.
Okay, masculinity maybe be able to gain you a place of privilege, But depending on how you define your masculinity.
How does masculinity gain you a place of privilege? It doesn't gain you a place of privilege. If you got anywhere through your masculinity, it was probably through hard work. I mean, let's just be real here. Femininity is passive, sitting back, waiting for stuff to come. Masculinity, you gotta go out there and get it. That's the way it's always been. I bet you if a world war happens and we have to start throwing bodies in a meat grinder, you're not gonna find this chick and her friends going,
We're ready to go.
they'll be the first ones to be like,
Oh, well, we're women.
Could also create like a toxicity in you, but also you're trying to embrace your true self. So like you think that you're moving towards like more freedom and more truth, but like then you have to unpack masculinity.
I see palm trees in the background. Of course, this person's in California. Well, there you go. I guess Fluffy's had it. Thanks to Fume for sponsoring this video.